Welcome, trendsetters. And here we are, another action-packed week, or not, with Congress. So Don Jr. just spoke, and I'm sure he just blathered on and repeated his lies. Polygraphs, I'm thinking polygraphs. So you should give a congressional testimony if it's seen as suspicious or inadequate. Second time round, on with the polygraph. Don't you reckon? Look, thanks for all your comments, guys. I'm really enjoying the forum. Now, today, reading on a mix. It's sort of trying to catch up now. The Democratic primary initial debates are starting and all of that. Now, first of all, Biden. I read on Biden not long ago, got wishy-washy cards. It was at the time the story had just broken, pictures of him inappropriately sort of snuggling and kissing backs of necks and things. At that time in the forum, most of us agreed he's not actually an out-and-out sleaze. He's more of a hugger. He's that type of old-school guy. But you can't get away with it in the modern world. And I worried about him from then because I thought there could be 100 pictures that look bad and that could undermine him as the campaign went on. But now I'm actually more worried about the man himself. There's just not enough energy to Biden. But that's me. Let's have a look at what the cards have to say. I understand totally how middle America and most Americans on both sides of the aisle think he's a decent bloke, and he does represent in many ways the complete opposite of Trump. Try and do the right thing, but his record isn't fabulous. And then he went and blew it again with the Hyde Amendment and not backing the funding for clinics. He backpedaled. I'm not feeling Biden, I have to tell you. But look, let's see what his cards say. So, Joe Biden, and then we're going to do Elizabeth Warren, who's got momentum now. But Biden, what's going to happen with Biden? Alright, here we have, I suspect my pack is upside down. I rarely have reversals. So there he is. What's his challenge? The young ones. Look. Yep. It doesn't rule him out, but there isn't... It's not leaping at me. Okay, I don't want, because I came in saying what I thought, I'm going to try not to read with that, but just read what's in front of me here. Now, his first card is the King of Swords, which is a good, potent card for someone who's going for the big job. He has the Sword of Truth and Justice, right? He also has a reputation, by and large, for doing the right thing. But this Hyde Amendment stuff is definitely sus. But he's got a good, powerful card bang in the middle. What is his challenge? The younger ones. And I think they're a challenge on two levels. They're a challenge ideologically because they think differently, and he represents old school Democrats, big on corporate America. These are the young ones coming through, and they've got their sword raised too, and their time is coming. So in other words, the energy of the younger ones collectively, or a younger person, is on top of him. Behind him in terms of who's supporting him and what is working for him. He's a known player, group work. He's who the old guard would probably vote for, I mean, within the Democratic Party. It is the Three of Pentacles, dark money. I'm not saying he's dirty for a second. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is it's that used to those corporate allegiances and alliances and thinking in terms of what's best for big business is best for America type thinking. So that represents what's going on there. Underneath him, he's got all the money he needs to go ahead. The Ace of Pentacles, you know, donor money, individual money. Money would not be an issue for his candidacy. What is an issue for his candidacy is he's becoming a bit isolated within the party. So despite the polls being very generous to him at this stage, this raises an issue, viewers. My first digression. I'm concerned, and I know some of you are, that the Dems should fly from here, but they are capable of screwing it up. And one of the ways they can screw it up is batting away the young things and going with someone just on polls. We all know how polls are unreliable. They're a guideline, but they're fundamentally unreliable. So although I think he has the respect, the genuine respect of a lot of people, I wouldn't rule him out. He's becoming more isolated. He's had wins and losses, but more people are walking away from him than towards him now. Not everyone wants to fight with him. So this is why, I'm sure I'm not the only reader saying this, we have to keep reading on this because it's so dynamic, it's so changing. 6 months ago, a Biden-Kamala Harris ticket would have looked like the most beautiful thing. It's sort of not quite so much. His outcome. Has he done enough, meaning the campaign? He's worried that he might not have done enough, and I think he should be worried because already people are screaming at him from behind the scenes, come and be seen, come and talk to people. I don't know that he's got, at the risk of sounding like a trumpet, I don't know if he's really got the energy for the gig. America is undergoing this biggest transition in 60 years. I'm comparing it to the whole Vietnam War stuff. You need someone really charismatic, dynamic, efficient, someone totally inclusive. But the key word is energy, bringing that energy, not really beautifully crafted speeches delivered in this flat tone. Not going to cut it, love. For Australian viewers, when I say love, I said pet, I said doll, you'll know exactly what I mean. I'm not feeling it for Biden. Okay. Elizabeth Warren, you've got to love her in the sense that she made a big boo-boo with the Native American stuff. The Pocahontas taunts, she bought into them. They were hideous in their own right. But she's still there. She's working hard. And it seems to me if she can be in a room with people, she's very convincing. She can talk directly to people. Biden doesn't have that same gift. Elizabeth has got it, but is it time for a female president? Can America go there after Trump? Will the damage he's done to her energize his base and lead to all sorts of yucky poo stuff? But for now, what I'm reading on is how is she travelling now in terms of the primaries? How's she travelling now? Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. Oh, oh, bit of a hostage at the moment. What's her challenge? Disappointment. We're not flying out of the blocks here, troops. She gets that card too. Let's hope they pick up here. Ah, and they do. And they do. Okay. She, in some ways, is considered dangerous. She's considered dangerous by some of the conservative Dems because she has a genuinely radical agenda. For the young things, the Ocasio-Cortezes and things, she was talking about this stuff literally before they were born. She also hasn't diverted, as a lot of people do as they age, they move further away from their radical politics and they sort of co-opt the middle ground and all of that. This is her, I'm hearing this is what the Democratic machine is doing to her. It's not other people. It's not voters. It's not the Republicans. It's the Democratic machine does not want Warren. Now, who's disappointed? Is she disappointed that even if she works really hard and wins over the hearts and minds of millions, she won't get the nomination? That could be the disappointment. Alternatively, she could get the nomination and the Conservative Dems are disappointed and running the risk. But I feel that's her fear. I think it's Elizabeth Warren's own fear. She's being held back. I don't mean literally in the sense she's going out there and saying it, but she's not being rewarded within the democratic system. Behind her, the same question as Biden, have I done enough? The difference is, the question for her is, she is still active and she will have done enough because she hasn't she doesn't rest on her laurels, Elizabeth Warren. She's out there, she takes on the difficult stuff, and she convinces people of really quite difficult truths in some level, but on another level, they are basic realities of people's lives, and people understand her and respond to her. She sure as hell has momentum. There's the Eight of Wands. She has energy, she has momentum. Knight of Swords. On the one hand, it can be the card of revenge, but she's not a vengeful person, so you have to look at it in its other, more positive incarnation. Knights are opportunities. She's charging into the headwinds. The sword is raised. She's up for the fight. And the best bit of news, her outcome, is the Star card. So in other words, she's dealing with this crapola at the moment. It's a given with Elizabeth Warren. I'm sure if you talk to Nancy and Chuck and the others behind the scenes, it's almost like she's embarrassing to them or something because she's so out there and radical. I don't think they actually like her. She knows that. And on the one level, she doesn't care. She keeps going. But they could stop her going forward. But she's got momentum. She's up for the fight. And she's got the most positive card. So what we can say from that is she'll definitely be in the running, right? She'll definitely be in the running. And also, I don't know how old Elizabeth Warren is, but she strikes me as not as old as some of the others that I think, frankly, without trying to be too ageist, but I will be, if you're nudging 80, I think it's time to let the young ones through. And I think she's actually at a good age and stage for doing all this. I'm now going to have a little look-see with Hope Hicks, because she's testifying again next week. So what's her testimony going to be? Hope Hicks, what's she going to say? What's she going to say? Then do a 4 card for her. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, Hope. This is not an easy time for her, and what she has to relay is huge. Interesting. So she's been grilled about the group work and the dark money by the government, right? The Hierophant, there's the system. Then there's the Death card, followed by the Devil. So she was literally doing the work of the devil in the form of Trump. Can we forget the steaming of the pans? So she was there. This could be the death of her career, although I think she's young enough and attractive enough that she will recover from this career-wise. But it's the end. It's the absolute end of an era, and we can only hope it means, I'll do clarifiers, it means it's the end of her support for him. She can no longer pretend to herself or others, oh, it was just a job, or I had no idea he was a bent businessman. She knew, at least by the end. I think she went in as a naive little cookie. So let's see. These are heavy cards for Hope Hicks. So let's see what the clarifiers have to say about the Death and the Devil. Oh, courtship, yes, he was wondering. Oh, in the White House. Yeah, she's going to give the dirt. I was worried she was maybe going to do a Fifth Amendment type thing. Here we have the courtship card. Now, it's the death of the courtship. They had a very strange relationship, Trump and Hope Hicks. Personally, I don't think they ever did it. I don't think it was that. But she was a cross between a daughter and a lover. They had an extremely close relationship. I think he was at his best around her. And she believed in him then, but it's the death of all that. Right, it's the death of all that. And then we have the house, which looks like the old Addams family house, but could easily represent the White House here, the home of the devilish Yeti. So this is saying to me, she is going to give testimony that actually has significance for Trump. I so hope that comes about. I don't know who's paying her legal fees, because Trump would have said to everyone, don't worry, I'll just pay it, and he never does. So it's probably her parents paying the legal fees or something. If anyone knows who is paying Hope Hicks legal fees, I'd be very interested. Now, another little tip, viewers. I'm always talking with you guys online about ways of staying strong and resisting the gaslighting and so forth. But here's a good one a viewer sent in. They have started ringing all their Republican representatives at the different level and saying, I've been a Republican voter all my life and I will not stand for this man in office. So you could look at it as a bit of theatre. So even if you're a born-again Dem or been independent all your life or whatever, what's wrong with a little theatre? Ring up the Republicans, because you can ring up the Democrats and say, no, but I thought it was quite creative. So the other thing that's happened is Hong Kong. Bless 1 million people on the street. How brave are they? You know, taking it on. And this is countries in transition. It needs courage. It needs bodies on the street, but it needs all sorts of people who are active in all sorts of ways. So if you don't want to be on the front line, on the barricades, that's perfectly all right. But just find some way to help be part of the solution. And now America is really, really looking down the barrel of crony capitalism. It's gone that far. It's time for a radical reinvention. So let the imagination go. Look after yourselves. I'm going to post this now. I'll be fascinated to see your opinions on all this. So at the moment, Biden, Elizabeth Warren, good potential, but could be sabotaged. Long way to go. I'll follow up on Buttigieg next because we have to keep on top of this living thing. Okay, love you guys. Bye now.